Okay. I think we back. Lord only knows. I think we back, though. I think we back. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat earlier. We had 20 people in here. Now we only got 8. Hopefully the rest of the people find their way back over. My bad on that, but y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Joe Castro, a.k.a. Philly Fresco, and it is another episode of Philly's Morning Joe. We are going through these episodes like water, so it's a lot of fun. I'm excited to do another one, especially to do another one on Victory Monday. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles, it wasn't the prettiest, right? I don't think any of our wins have yet been. I mean, the Buccaneers game was the closest, but it wasn't the most beautiful win, but a win is a win. We go out there, we're able to beat a division rival, a division opponent, right? That's always big going down the year. This is a game that we're going to look back at that says definitely helped us, right? We're going to look at this and say, hey, good thing we got that. We have a lead. You know, at the end of the day, the Eagles are one of 2 undefeated teams, right? And that is something you cannot take away from them. When we win the Super Bowl this year, when the Eagles hoist that Lombardi trophy, nobody's going to say, well, they kind of struggled this week. Well, they kind of struggled that week. Then none of that matters. None of that matters. The Philadelphia Eagles are out there doing what they need to do, and that's just to win. That's it. So I'm excited to see the growth of the offense. I think that Jalen Hurts had one of his better games, probably his best game, just a clean game, good decision making. There were a couple of plays that we definitely would want to have back, but he had a good game. And the defense, they did not. The defense looked terrible. I don't know what happened with that defense. Sean Desai, in my opinion, just got outcoached. We'll see what happens next week. Honestly, you look at a game like this, and it should be a slap in the face, right? It should. You saw what the Dallas Cowboys were able to do after losing to the Cardinals, because they felt probably disrespected. They were probably very upset about that performance that they put out. The Philadelphia Eagles should be the same, especially that defensive line. We talked about it all week going into this game that we felt this defensive line should be able to eat against Sam Howell. Now, there was, I believe, 4 sacks on the day, but 3 of those came from Zach Cunningham, or from Anthony Morrow. Sorry, Nicholas Morrow. Why do I always call him Anthony? Nicholas Morrow. Most of those came from Nick. So, look, this defensive line should be salivating at the chance to go out there and play another team and hopefully get some more sacks. You got a quarterback in Stafford that can't really get outside of the pocket. So they should be a team that we should be able to come back against. So we won. It is what it is, but there's a lot to be left on, there's a lot of food left on that plate. There's a lot to be left to be desired. Whatever analogy you want to use, I wasn't ecstatic with that, outcome. It is what it is. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Already got 20 people in the chat. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you guys enjoy this. We got 22 people. My fault. But let me get to this poll, because as always, we do have a poll, man. So I want to know if you guys think, is Jalen Hurts back on track? Like I said, one of his better games. Let me pull up the exact number so we can, kind of look at him and talk about it. But I think Jalen Hurts looked really good. Again, there was definitely plays that I would like to have back. There's definitely plays that I'm looking at him and saying, all right, man, maybe make this decision. There's still times that I look and there's a wide open guy and Jalen Hurts is taking off. But either way, 20 of 37, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, on the ground 9 attempts for 34 yards, no touchdowns. Obviously, Brown and Smith, your top 2 targets. Brown getting 175 yards, which we'll talk about, 2 touchdowns, and Devontae Smith getting 76 yards off 7 catches. So these guys still able to eat. That's what you want to see. But we have to be better. We do. We have to be great. And I truly feel that this team is great. So that's why I want to see them be great. That's really what it comes down to. But I did say, like I said, I want to get into some of these numbers. And before we do, I do want to talk about an injury, man. So Cam Jurgens, it looks like Cam Jurgens, he had an MRI scheduled for today. This was posted yesterday on his foot, and NFL source said x-rays revealed nothing, and the team is hoping it's just a sprain. So he did come out pretty early. Sua Opeta had a good amount of snaps yesterday, and look, he's looking like a guy that we can really rely on, that we should be happy that the Eagles have, to be honest, because he's had to come in now on 2 different occasions back-to-back weeks, right? So I'm excited to see what happens with his development, and I saw somebody say Tyler Steen in the chat. possibly, maybe this is the time that they actually start to go for Tyler Steen. But I'm excited to see what happens with the development of Sua Opeta, because he is, kind of 5th, 6th year guy, something like that. So, but Cam Jurgens, we need you to be healthy, man. This is back-to-back now. Landon Dickerson went down last game. Sua Opeta had to go in for him. Now Cam Jurgens goes down and Sua Opeta has to go in for him. So this has to be cleared up. We need to start getting some luck with this health, because, last year we were so lucky when it came to health, and health is wealth, man. I mean, that's the famous saying, right? If you are not healthy, it's going to be tough to beat teams on a consistent basis. So this is a little bit worrisome for me. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Is what it is. But shout out to everybody in the chat. KJ, the first one in here. Again, he was the first one in here on the first go at this, I guess, right? Bleeding Kelly Green said, let's try this again. What's going on? Tracy Ann, what's going on? Devontae Jones says, what did the Commanders going back? Where did the Commanders going back? Oh, where did the Commanders fans go? Look, if I'm a Commanders fan, I'm not feeling terrible about that game. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If I'm a Commanders fan, I'm looking at that and saying, hey, Sam Howell might be something. And I said that before this game. Sam Howell is not a absolute horrible quarterback. I still feel like he's probably a year or two away from really hitting what he can be, but I think he's going to be a good player in this league. And I'm not just saying that because he went out there and put work on us. I said before the game, he's not terrible. I didn't think he would be able to do what he did against the Eagles defense. Kudos to him for doing that. Kudos to Eric Bieniemy for putting together a very good game plan, to be 100% honest with you. But another thing that I feel is there's going to be games that you ask your offense to win the game. There's going to be games that you ask your defense to win the game. You can make the argument that for the first 3 games, if it had not been for our defense, we probably aren't in those games. We might not win those games. And you can make the same argument that this game was the offensive game, right? This was the game that you ask your offense to go out there and do enough to win, and they did. So that's all you can really ask. And the defense stopped them when they needed to. The defense made plays when they needed to. And I don't want to win like this consistently, right? I don't want to be the new Vikings last year. It felt like they, barely won a bunch of games, but they won a bunch of games. I don't want to do that. I want to at some point get it clicking, but for now, this works. For now, if this is where we at and we have to try to figure out what we are, then, that's what happens. What's going on, David? He says, man, I'm really praying that they pull the trigger for Buddha. LOL, but go Birds 4-0. It might happen. It might happen. I've been telling you guys for a while that, secondary is the spot they're looking at, and it might happen pretty soon, especially after a game like that. The offenses only get better, right? The offenses only get better. So the wide receivers, don't get me wrong, they have a decent wide receiving core, a bunch of OSU guys, and then Terry McLaurin out there as an OSU guy. But they got a bunch of guys. They got a bunch of good guys, but at the end of the day, the wide receivers probably only get harder. This is the passing attacks are going to get better down the line. So if you don't feel comfortable with what you have, then maybe you do need to make a move. Terrell Edmonds did not look good out there. There was a lot of things that you look at and you're like, all right, maybe a cause for concern, maybe not though. And we'll see what they feel. We'll see what they say. Now, you guys brought it up. I mean, Elliott Shore-Parks, I know there's mixed feelings on Elliott Shore-Parks, but he said it straight up, man. He said how he needs to make a move in that secondary. The second safety spot is an issue, and James Bradbury needs to go back to outside cornerback. The answer at number 2 safety or nickel for this season isn't on the roster. I would definitely agree with the nickel. I don't know what their plan is there. I mean, you look at the nickel spot right now, right? And you look at what they have. I don't know. I really don't know. I thought Mario Goodrich would be the guy that they gave an opportunity to, but he doesn't even seem to be going in. So, this could be a point of contention. This could be the spot where they definitely need to get better. And I wouldn't be mad at that. I definitely would not be mad at that. Is it Budda Baker? Is it, another quarterback? I know that there's a bunch, I don't want to say a bunch, but there's a couple good cornerbacks out there that aren't getting the burn that they probably deserve with their respective teams. So maybe we go out there and we swoop somebody up, kind of like a Jay Ajayi situation, but just for the defense, right? We made Howell look good. Look, KJ, Howell looked good in a couple games. And his big thing was holding the ball too long. He fixed that mistake. You put it on that offensive line that they improved. And, yeah, we didn't do good. We did not do good. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's great, but we definitely didn't do well, but they also improved in some areas. So we have to be real with that. Davon said too close, but we need to figure out this secondary. I agree. Look, we might be lucky at linebacker. We might have figured it out. We might not have to spend assets on that, which is good, right? That's what you want. So now we have assets to go ahead and make that safety room stronger. And I love Reed Blankenship. So, we're just looking for somebody next to him, or maybe a cornerback that you can put in the slot, let James Bradberry go back outside. So I don't. Maybe you find the outside corner and you just keep James Bradberry in the slot. Who knows? You can do a bunch of different things. Whatever you feel most comfortable with, go ahead and do that. That's where I'm at right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got a lot of people in here already. I appreciate y'all. 38 people. That's crazy. Can y'all hit that like button? I would really appreciate that. Hurts is back, but play calling needs to be better. Defense too. Let me get you a wrench, Miriam. Let me get you a wrench as well. Hold on. Devontae, even in this chat. Let's hook it up. All right, so yeah, I mean, look, play calling is definitely something I want to see improve. I don't know. I gotta watch the game again. I'm gonna watch the game again after I get off this live. But I don't know what I would have done differently, And I'm not saying that there wasn't things that he could have done differently. Just I don't know off the top of my head what I would have done differently, especially offensively. Defensively, I definitely would have wanted to see more pressure, right? Once you start seeing, all right, we're not getting to these guys. Let's start sending some guys. Let's start, sending some blitzes. Let's be a little bit more exotic. And they started to do that. And like I said, they made plays, but it just wasn't as consistent as I wanted to. Sean Desai got to clutch up. That secondary sucked. It did. We need to press more on defense. This zone coverage is weak. I agree. I never understood the concept of being 10 yards back. I never understood it. Maybe it's because you really don't trust your safeties. Maybe it's because you're just playing on islands. I'm not really sure. You have to ask a better man than me for that, or a better person that knows more, that can kind of break down that film a little bit more. But to me, it just feels like you don't trust the safeties. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it does get, better. That's what we need to do. Haven't been this stressed since Carson Wentz. I'm not stressed. I really am not stressed. I think that this team will figure it out. I think they have the players to be good. I don't think that the players is the issue. I think that there's a lot of internal things that they got to figure out. And I think you can do that. I don't think that we're on a time crunch. If we were 2-2, if we were, 1-3 or something like that, then yeah, we're sitting here being like, all right, what's going on? This team is not what we thought it would be. But we're 4-0. We're 4-0 at the end of the day, have an opportunity to go 5-0, and we'll see what happens. We're in a lucky situation. We really are. At some point, we're probably going to lose, but we have to learn from it. I don't know why I always say Anthony Morrow. Anthony Morrow, isn't he a basketball player? I don't know why I always say that. It's like a bad habit for me. I'm going to get a t-shirt that just says Anthony Morrow. What's going on, Hitman? Desai is playing conservative to keep his job. He needs to step it up and take some chances in the first half and not jump into prevent defenses from first to. Yeah, I agree. I really don't like what he does with the but at the same time, he does a lot of things I do like. So I'm not gonna really kill him just yet. This was a really bad game, but then, like I said, there were games that he definitely went out there and won the game for us. And I think that we got to be realistic about that. And look, we used to talk about Jim Schwartz on this, show a lot. And Jim Schwartz was kind of like that. He played a lot of prevent defense, a lot of sticks defense, right? We all know that. And he kept his cornerbacks pretty far back, but when we needed a play, he was usually Johnny on the spot getting aggressive. So Sean Desai reminds me of that. I do want to see it a little bit more often because, like I said, you have the players to do it. You definitely have the players to do it. Refs made lousy calls. They kept the Washington in. I agree. I'm not going to sit and blame the refs. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not going to do that. Where I just played all right, here we go. Yeah, they kept the Washington drives going, especially on the PI slay. That was horrible. There was like 3 calls that I was like, I don't know what they were seeing. I don't know what they were seeing. But again, we can't blame, refs. It is what it is. But yeah, they definitely need to be investigated because that was kind of crazy. It was such bad calls. Even on the one of the tush pushes, like it was just bad call after bad call. Taking shots on second and short is crazy for me. Teams are neutralizing our pass rush. Yeah, I mean, we knew that was going to happen. But the way that you neutralize that is you get up on those wide receivers. You get your cornerbacks up on those wide receivers. If you then do that, it's harder for the quarterback to just get the ball out quick, right? Unless you're trying to do screens and stuff like that. But if you're up there on the line, up there on the wide receivers, it makes it a lot harder for them to just have those quick plays. They're going to either have to try and run the ball, which we've shown that we can stop that, or they're going to have to try and get some long developing plays or get some, or they're just going to get eaten alive by our pass rush. But we have to also put our players in position to go ahead and get that pass rush going. So, we've been good on first and second down defensively. So it's like the groundwork is there, right? The groundwork is there that we have a path of getting better, and we just need to do it now. Like as easy as that may sound, and I know it's not that easy, but that's the truth. You got to just go out there and do it now. There's really nothing else to say. You have the players, you have the system in place, you have, the continuity, you have the veterans that can kind of walk these young guys through it. You have some dogs at the young players at the position, utilize them. And shout out to Philly Mike. Everybody got those Philly Dogs hats. You know what I'm saying? Them junks is dope. We are neutralizing our own pass rush. We are running 4-man fronts, which are fine, but you have to push the blitz in the first half of the game to keep them thinking. Facts. And you have to get them in positions where they're going to run. If you can get some negative plays on first and second down, then boom. Like I said, we're doing well on first and second. We usually have them in long third down plays. But if you can get them, just push them back. That's what we need. We need some plays for losses. We need some sacks. That's what we need. We need some damn sacks. Victory Monday. It feels good. Either way, like people are going to bring it up and be like, oh, shout out to my dog James, but he already hit me up talking about, oh, you guys struggle. We 4-0. That's it. We 4-0. That's all that matters to me. Nothing else matters to me. Literally nothing else matters to me. You run the ball on 3rd and 11 with Gainwell. Dude, Brian Johnson is an awful OC. I don't know why, but I like Kenneth Gainwell. Okay, I'm going to say that. But Kenneth Gainwell needs to be the guy that you just split out wide. Do some, every now and then he gets a run play. But I'm kind of tired of seeing him get double digits runs. Like, put somebody else in there. I wouldn't mind seeing Boston get more runs. I wouldn't mind seeing Rashad finally get some runs. Like, I like Kenny, but he's just not it, man. We have better options. It is what it is. I'm not trying to hate, but I don't, there's never been a time that I looked at Kenny Gainwell this year and was like, oh, he's out there balling right now. Like, he's done well, but he hasn't been consistent enough for me. I don't know. And he's just not big enough to get him tackles. I'm good on him. Again, I'm not saying get him off the team. I'm just saying, maybe figure some other ways out of utilizing him. Edmonds is buns. Yeah, Edmonds, first of all, Edmonds looks just like my nephew, which is kind of, but Edmonds did not look good out there. He definitely did not look good. There was a lot of plays that it's like, bro, what are you doing? Cravon LeBlanc brings Strap back. Look, I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. He hasn't played for a little while. Even when he was here, he was good. He was a, solid player, but it wasn't one of those things like, oh, we got to make sure we keep Cravon LeBlanc here. And he doesn't know this defense, if I'm not mistaken. He left before we even had Jonathan Gannon. So maybe if they make a call and they feel comfortable with him, maybe I wouldn't be the most upset as depth guy. But, I think we can make a bigger splash. King Dread says, I don't think we need Buddha. I'm fine with Reed and Sidney Brown. The problem is they targeted Job all game. Decide needs to start playing bump and run with our corners. Look, Job has been very up and down. I'm going to be real with you because that was one guy that I kind of kept my eye on. that he mirrors routes pretty damn well. Job is not bad. Job is not bad. It's just he needs time. And unfortunately, in the situation we're in, we don't have time. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for a Super Bowl this year. So we don't have the time to wait for him to develop. But, you know, he's not terrible. He just needs the time. And again, like I said, we're not patient enough right now because I'm right there with that. You know, he needs to be better. We need better from the position. But, you know, it's just he's good. He is good. I would like to see what Eli Ricks does out there, but we're gonna see the same thing out there. You know, Ricks needs time to learn as well. They're gonna bite on stuff that isn't necessarily, you know, indicative of them being bad. It's just indicative of them being young. You know what I'm saying? So that's something we got to be understanding of. But again, right now it's hard to be understanding when you're trying to win a Super Bowl. 803 Hitman says Chin or Baker. I've heard good things about Baker. Obviously, there's some sources out there saying that Chin is an option as well. I think Baker is the guy. I mean, if we are going to go out there and get somebody, I think it's going to be Baker. But I could be wrong, and, you know, that could be all smoke to kind of make another, you know, trade sound better. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. The OC needs to get it together. Let me get you a... So, one more time, I want to just remind people, you know, when I give you guys the model, we get people from different teams. They like to come in here and talk trash. As long as they're not being disrespectful, we talk football in here all day. So don't mute them. Don't mute them. Can y'all hear me? But, you know, as long as they're not being disrespectful, don't mute them or anything. But, yeah. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Can somebody let me know y'all can hear me? All right, thank you. My mic be bugging out. Shout out to Devontae Jones with the $2 super chat. Says Covey is going to be out next week. Of course he is. Of course he is. He starts playing well, and then that's what happens. Of course. Of course. But let's get to some good news. All right, a big part of the good news is going to be my dog, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown went out there and balled out. So Reuben Frank, if you guys don't follow Reuben Frank, I definitely think you should. Depending on how you can feel about however you want about his opinions. But as far as getting, you know, like just stats, he brings up the dopest stats. So he went over 100. Him being A.J. Brown went over 150 yards for now the fourth time as a Philadelphia Eagle. So in less than two seasons, he's already had 150 yards for 4 times in 4 different games. He now passes Timmy Brown, Harold Jackson, and Terrell Owens on that list. He's 4 behind Deshaun Jackson, and he's 3 behind Tommy McDonald and Jeremy Maclin, which I didn't know Maclin was that high. And then Ben Hawkins and Fred Barnett are tied with him. A.J. Brown might mess around and break this record by next season, maybe by this season, to be honest. But A.J. Brown looked really good this game. He looked incredible. And, you know, he had that penalty at the end, which you don't want to see, right? You don't want him doing that because it's a little bit upsetting. It's like, you know, we're making some headway. We're doing good things. Don't be that guy. Don't be an idiot. We need to go out there and just play smart. So definitely not something you want to see. But at the same time, I think that, you know, look, he's an emotional guy. He's definitely an emotional guy. And when you play this well, you can let your emotions hang. I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that. I wonder how y'all feel about that penalty. It definitely was hurtful. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely hurtful. But I want to grab something real quick also. All right. Anyway, so like I said, A.J. Brown was able to go out a great game. And that, I mean, look, A.J. Brown's going to be our lead dog. He's going to have to make sure that this team keeps afloat. And shout out to Devontae Jones with the $5 super chat. He said A.J. Brown Baptized Forbes, welcome to the NFL. Jurgens also picked up an injury. Yeah, I saw Jurgens' injury. Hopefully he's fine. They're getting an MRI today, so we'll wait to see what happens there with that going on. But look, a lot of these injuries, we're just going to have to try and figure it out. We're going to have to keep going. And we got very, very lucky last year when it came to injuries, to be honest. Cornerbacks give up TDs all the time. How many TDs Clay and Bradbury give up in their first year starting? That's a good question. I mean, look, Josh Joby is not a trash player. He's not trash. Like I said, when you watch him, he played well. It's just he has to learn. There's going to be a lot of things that he's going to have to learn on the fly. But also, I want to talk about we talked about our wide receiver, but I want to talk about our coach, man. Highest winning percentage for NFL head coaches with a minimum of 32 games. Nick Sirianni is 5th. He is 5th behind Vince Lombardi at 738. He's behind Guy Chamberlain, who has 784. That's going all the way back to the 20s. But look at Nick Sirianni. Look at Nick Sirianni. 711. Because he's always open, right? No, that should have been for A.J. Brown. But 711 win percentage for these past 2 years. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. And look, the Philadelphia Eagles are very lucky to have him. We know that we've seen coaches that just cannot make transitions, cannot make adjustments in game. We've seen so many different adjustments from Nick Sirianni, from game to game, from year to year, everything. So it's beautiful to see, and hopefully we continue to see it. That's it. But that's the beauty right there. That's the beauty right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the poll real quick. How many people we got voted? 50 people so far have voted on the poll. Is Jalen Hurts back on track? 66% of you guys saying yes, he is. 12% of you saying no. And 22% of you guys are on the fence. I'm going to say this. I think Jalen Hurts is back on track. I do. I think that's the type of game he needed, where not just he had a pretty clean game, but he knew that the game was on him. The game was definitely on him. He had to go out there and perform. If he did not win that game, we lose that game. The defense did not show up. So, I think that he needed that type of game, and I think that he's right back on track where he needs to be. Now he needs to build off of it. I always say this, like, it's one thing to have a bunch of bad days, but it's another to have one good day and have another good day and have another good day. Just keep on building on what you did last week. And I think that now he's in a position that he can look at what he did this week and say, all right, let's build on that, right? Let's go to the next one. What do I have to improve? Where can I improve to get to that next level? I've said this, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If this is where we are now, just imagine where we're going to be once we do hit our stride, once we do start winning games, once we start, looking like the team we should look like. Nobody's going to be able to stop us. Nobody's going to be able to stop us. I truly do feel that. Nobody's going to be able to stop us. Linda said AJ was cooking that young buck. Got all that real estate up in E. Forbes had. Yeah, man, it was a stupid flag, Devontae. I agree. But he went crazy on him. He went crazy on him. And that's another guy. Emmanuel Forbes is not a cornerback at all, actually. He's been doing pretty well this year. And I know Washington fans are high on him. And for good reason. He was a good guy coming out of college as well. But look, he's not bad, but he made mistakes. And A.J. Brown cooked him for him. A.J. Brown cooked him for him. I rewatched the game because I heard everyone on Job's neck, so I rewatched all the defensive snaps. Job was one-on-one bump and run the entire game. He was mirroring routes. I mean, one of the plays was like a back shoulder throw, then the next back shoulder throw, he was right there. I mean, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna get beat, but it's about how you come back. And every time I feel like he gets beat on something, they're not able to do it twice on him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. Once he starts learning what defense or offenses are trying to do to him, I think he's gonna be fine. I really do. It's just, right now, we're not there. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he's not there, and right now, we don't have the time to wait on him. That's the biggest thing. I'm sorry, giving up a TD with 2 seconds left is unacceptable. You can't defend that. I mean, it's happening. It happened. It happens to a lot of players. We can't define a player by one play. Because if we define Bradbury by one play, you can bring up the hold in the Super Bowl and say he's trash. He's not trash, right? Everybody's had bad years. They've had bad games. I'm not gonna define him by one play. If he can learn from that, then he might be looking good. And I feel like he's been able to learn from all his mistakes so far. He's not perfect. See, Jobs doesn't suck, Bobby. I don't think that he sucks. I think that's a little bit getting ahead of ourselves. He's young. He's making young rookie mistakes. He's a second-year player, but still. I heard so many excuses. And I'm not saying that they weren't warranted, but I heard so many excuses for Jalen Hurts when he was playing bad in his first year as a starter. He was a second-year player, first year as a starter. And I used to talk to y'all about that all the time, and I hated that y'all didn't make that distinction. Let's give the same energy to a guy like Josh Jobe, who's shown flashes, but at the end of the day, this is his first year really getting starter in reps. And not only that, you're on a very good defense. So anything that looks bad, right? I know we had a bad game this week as far as our defense goes, but I think that we're still a good defense. Anything that happens that's bad, we're going to look at it and be like, all right, it's his fault. It's him. But we can't be that gung-ho to just be like, oh, this guy sucks. He's a young guy. Let's give him the same energy we gave a guy like Jalen Hurts when he was learning, when he was in his first year as a full starter. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 46 people in the chat. We got 50 people, excuse me. Can we get them likes up? We got 30 likes. Can we get to 45? Let's get to 45 likes. I appreciate that. Yo, Joe, what's up, my guy? Let's give Coach Nick his flowers. He deserves them, you know what I'm saying? He grew that flower bed, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the best, speeches ever. I think we're like 20-1 since that speech as well. Shout out to Mark C with the $5 super chat. He said, hey, Castro, sorry I'm late, but Job has to effing go. He is awful. 3 huge TDs on him this season, 2 in the Vikings game and this game. Look, I'll give you this. I do think that we can get better at the position. I definitely agree with that. I definitely think that we can get better at the position. But I'm not just giving up on him. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I am not just giving up on him. I think that he still is a good player. What's going on, EC? I still think that he's a good player. Give him some time to learn. Right now is not the time for him to learn. Right now is not the time for him to kind of get those reps to be, training. And that's not by his own fault. To me, that's not his own fault. So give him time to learn, and I think we'll be fine. I do. I think we'll be fine. My computer is all messed up, so we're just gonna keep the overlay on because I think this is a beautiful overlay, anyways, right? I mean, who doesn't want to see this for the next 20 minutes? I think we're cool with this. If you're not cool with looking at this standing, just let me know. What's going on, Desert Eagle? What's going on? Goat, man. That's a goat right in there. Dude is a liability out there. Look, I get it. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. Job is the most impressive part of the current record is that the Eagles are 3-0 within the division. We are taking care of business. 3-0 in the division. We played the Vikings, Washington. You mean conference, in the conference. Yeah, I mean, that's big. That's big. That helps you in conference. When you're trying to get the number 1 seed for the year, that's big. Like and shares, real rap. Joe is in his bag. What's going on, Drew? What's going on? Job is fine. I'm not saying that he's good. I'm not saying that he's great. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying give him some time. Real talk. I'm saying give him some time. Give him some time. Well, you will when the Rams go at him and you see him get cooked. Again, if we can improve by next week, then let's do it. But, I don't think that he's absolutely terrible, and I think that you'll see him get better as the year goes on. That's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not saying that, he's going to be out there Deion Sanders by next week. I'm not saying that. Yeah, you saw Rasul Douglas. It took him time to get it going. I want to see Eli Ricks as well to see what he has as well. Yeah, I would not mind seeing Eli Ricks go out there. I would really actually love it. He's a backup. Go learn and be young in the practice squad. I agree. I get it. Don't compare him to Hurts year one. Hurts was throwing to Jalen Reagor and Jay Jaw. They made him look worse. Job, everything on him. I mean, I agree and disagree. Again, like I said, I'm not saying that he's great. I'm not saying that he's, the next coming to Deion Sanders. I just think that it's a little bit too early to say he's absolutely garbage. He hasn't been the one losing us games. You can look at a lot of different things. Why isn't the pass rush getting there? There's a lot of different, there's a lot of factors go into it. But I agree with you that he needs to get better. But I compared him to Hurts because everybody was giving Hurts a bunch of excuses of that he's new, he's learning. And that's what Job is doing. But shout out to Mark for the $5 super chat. I truly think that Job is just learning. He will get better. I really truly do believe that he will get better, but we just do not have the time to wait for him to get better. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. We don't have time. Joe Ricks is better than Job is on the outside, bro. Job is a liability and improved yesterday. I mean, he's definitely the weak link of our defense. I'll definitely agree with that. But Terrell Edmonds looked terrible too. Should we trade for a safety or a corner? I want to see Ricks thrown on the fire. I think that you get if you can get a safety that can move. Castro, there go my support for your efforts for the day. I appreciate you, Mark. I appreciate you. I say get a safety that can play in the slot. If you can do that, you're in a good position. I think that, maybe a Buda Baker that can come down and play some slot. Then you're in a good spot. And then you got a guy like Sidney Brown, once he's healthy, that can play slot reps for you. So I'm cool with that too. Why can't we put someone in the nickel so Bradbury can go back outside? I don't know. I think that they thought that Job just felt more comfortable outside and they felt more comfortable with him outside. Sidney Brown played well in the slot. Yeah, and Sidney Brown played a lot in the slot in college. That was bars. You heard that? Bars, bro. I don't know why y'all don't believe y'all eyes, bro. It's so simple. What do you mean? What do you mean, King Drat? Obviously, opposing OCs see it. That's why he's being targeted. I mean, yeah, look, again, he is the weak link of that defense. But Goodrich didn't even get hit. I mean, we don't know. That's the thing. All right, I see a lot of people saying Goodrich. I'm seeing people say, Eli Ricks is better, which I do think that Eli Ricks would probably be better. But we don't know. They're obviously, and they're not playing for a reason. Goodrich, when Avonte Maddox went down, he wasn't even activated for that first game. So they didn't even trust him to be a backup. So why do we have so much? And we don't even really know what Sidney Brown would do in a full slate of a game. And I think he'll be good, don't get me wrong, but we can't just jump off the ledge and say this guy will be better, that guy will be better. We don't know. I would like to see, you know what I'm saying? I would like to see, but we haven't seen it. So I can't be one of those guys that sits here and be like, oh, this would definitely happen. This guy would be better. Obviously, I read that. Cornerback is the hardest position to play, especially for a rookie. Just got to give him time. Exactly. I mean, and again, it's okay to not be patient. It's okay right now to not be patient. The Eagles have a team that they think is I think that we all should think is a Super Bowl contending team. This team can be a Super Bowl winning team, right? I think we all can agree there, right? Unless there's some trolls in the comments that don't agree. But I think we can agree that this is a Super Bowl contending team. So being impatient right now is not necessarily a bad thing. But at the same time, if the Eagles say, look, we're still winning, we have faith that Job is going to get better, then I have faith in my team. I do. I have faith that these guys aren't going to just say F it. They're not just going to mail it in. And if Howie feels that he needs to do something, I think he will. I think we've shown that. We've seen that. Job is playing out of position. Let him play in the slot and put Bradbury back on the corner. Maybe. So you're saying that you don't think that we're a Super Bowl contending team because we had a bad game against the Commanders? I wouldn't go off that. I wouldn't go off that rail. I think that we've played bad, honestly, all 4 games. I think all 4 games we haven't played up to our potential, but we've still won. And I think that that's a big part of being a Super Bowl team. Going out there and winning games that maybe you shouldn't have. I think that's a huge part of being a Super Bowl contending team. Joe, you know why they not playing Ricks or Goodrich? We all know the Eagles like favoriting players, and right now they love Joe for whatever reason when he is not better than Ricks, is all I'm saying. I agree that I think that Ricks, to me, is better. I like Ricks. I do like. I've been a fan of Ricks. I said I liked Ricks over Kaylee Ringo when everybody was like obsessed with Kaylee Ringo. But I love Eli Ricks. But look, I trust this team. I do. I don't think that they're idiots. I mean, Reed Blankenship's out there. They trusted Nicholas Morrow. He's doing well. You know, they've trusted N'Kobe Dean. He's done well. They trusted Jordan Davis. He's done well. Like, the guys that they trust have done well. So I'm not going to sit here and, you know, have they made bad decisions? Definitely. I think all teams do. But I think that they have a decent track record of picking the right guy, you know. So at least these last couple of years. I think we played our best versus the Bucs. I don't think we played our best. I think we played well, but I don't think we played our best. I think that there's even a higher ceiling than that. You know, I think that the Bucs aren't a good team. I think we could have dominated them even more, if I'm being honest. I don't think it was a bad game. I think it showed the heart and will that we have for winning. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can spin this win. I mean, at the end of the day, you're spinning a win, right? Hey, I don't care. We're 4-0. You know, like, people are coming at me like, oh, you guys struggled. Oh, this happened, but we're 4-0. That's all that matters to me, is that we are 4-0. That's all that matters to me. And at the end of the day, we have shown improvement in certain areas. I think that the defense took a step back this week, but at the same time, you got to give Commanders credit. They came in with a good game plan. Sam Howell came in and wanted to play. So, hey, I respect it. Mike said, bro, the coaches see them every day in practice. If Ricks was better, he'd be playing. That, I mean, that's, you know, and that's the thing. You got to trust who you got out there. You got to trust the coaches. You got to trust what their decisions are. I mean, yeah, that's the best way of putting it. If he was better, he would be out there. And, you know, maybe he is better, and they're not seeing it. That has happened, right? That has happened. Joe, yesterday's game reminded me of the second Giants game, the year we won the Super Bowl when Elliott kicked the 61-yarder. Exactly. We can go back to the Super Bowl winning year, and there was games like that we were like, damn, bro, we did not look like a Super Bowl winning team, but we came out there with the win. And that's a mark of a great team, right? That's the mark of a great team. If you can go out there and play ugly and still win, find ways to win. Jalen Hurts, you know, he has said it. Right? Jalen Hurts said, you know, whenever we need a play, somebody seems to make it. And that's all that really matters. Bobby, you right. You ain't wrong, Bobby. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong about that. They definitely whiffed on Swift. If we honestly look at the Commanders team, I honestly feel they would be complete if they can get a quarterback of the future. They got a legit defense and solid weapons. Look, I think Sam Howell's pretty damn good. I said this before the game. I said this before the game, and I'll say it again. I think that he's a couple years away, but I think they got one. I think he's a good quarterback. I really do. You know, he looked like he improved, and we talk about it all the time, especially with young players. It's about the progression from game to game, and he looked better than he did last game. If he can go out there and put another game together, then boom, that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about, is from game to game, your improvement. And he improved from game to game so far. You know, obviously he had a bad game against the Bills, but shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 50 people up in the chat. Can we get 50 likes today? I appreciate that. BGJ still don't believe in us. He don't like us. He don't love us. He ain't got no love for us. Y'all think Swift should get it 25 plus times, and when he isn't healthy, y'all would be saying, why didn't we share snaps? No, I definitely don't mind him sharing snaps. I just don't know if I really want to see Kenny Gainwell running the ball that much, to be honest. I think that he's better off as like a screen guy, as a, you know, split out wide. I would like to see Boston Scott get more carries. I'd like to see Rashad Penny get more carries. Maybe you add another running back. I mean, I'm cool with, you know, the split up of carries. It's just, I don't know if Kenny Gainwell really deserves 10 plus runs at this point, if I'm being honest. We need to lock up Swift for at least 2 years. Maybe we'll see what happens. I think that that's a decision you make kind of closer to the end of the year. Let's see what he does all year. If he can stay healthy, you know what I'm saying, then you start having that conversation. Job got cooked early on that back shoulder, then tried it again a couple plays later, and Job was ready. He has some bumps, and he's getting better. BGJ a hater. Yeah, I mean, look, that's what it is. That's what it really is about. And again, I'm going to say it again. If you want to be impatient, that's fine. I totally understand it. We have very high aspirations this year. Washington got smoked last week by the Bills. Stop it. That's not a playoff team. I mean, the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. Are they not a playoff team? This year, look, the Kansas City Chiefs damn near lost last night to the Jets. Are they not a playoff team? I mean, like, this has been a crazy year. People are losing to teams that they don't necessarily lose to, right? The Kansas City lost their first game. So it's a crazy year. It is what it is. Miami got blown out by the Bills. Are they not a playoff team? Like, it's just, look, it's a crazy year. It is what it is. What's going on, Eagles fans? You good? We had some technical difficulties today anyway, so I appreciate you coming through, man. We had to restart the live and stuff, but I appreciate everybody coming through. We've held pretty strong, man. We've held pretty strong. Style points don't matter in this league of WW. Exactly. A W is a W. Exactly. Buffalo just cooked Miami. It's about, look, styles make fights. It really is true. Styles make fights. Matchups make the game. It's not necessarily, this team is great at this, so that's going to happen. If you can match up well against something that a team does well, then you have a good shot. And this week, the Commanders honestly gave us a dose of our own medicine. If I'm being real, I feel like Washington gave us a dose of our own medicine. They ran the ball not really well, but they had the game. They had the game kind of slowly going like the Eagles do, right? They try to control the time of possession and everything. They try to give us a dose of our own medicine. Buffalo is definitely the favorite in the AFC, but everybody was hating on Josh Allen week 1 and 2. Like it's so up and down. It's only week 4 or 5. Like we cannot say anything right now. We are at the point. What's going on, Unforgiven? We are at the point right now that the Philadelphia Eagles that the Philadelphia Eagles need to just keep winning. You're not going to win the season in October, but you definitely can lose it. So just go out there, play your game, continue to find ways to win, and you'll be fine. Watch when we start losing against better teams, and you'll be agreeing with me. Agreeing about what? Because I've said that I agree with you. I just have difference of opinions in some of it. Hey, man, I don't trust anyone in that secondary but Reed. I've been saying last summer Slay is washed. Slay ain't washed. Slay isn't washed. Bro, it was one bad game, y'all. It was one bad game, and we won. They made plays when they had to. Let's not jump off the edge. Let's not jump off the ledge right now. The Eagles coaching staff has to do a better job calling plays. They were trash yesterday. Definitely. And they're also learning on the fly as well. Outside of the offense, I think the offense, they should kind of have an idea of what they want to do. But the defense is definitely learning on the fly. We do need to be better, but to expect just to blow out every team that's inferior is not reasonable, especially in the division, man. I mean, it's a divisional game. Like, they're going to come out there and play us as hard as they can. At least you won. Cowboys fans saying, oh, you struggled. I bet they would have rather struggled than won against the Cardinals, right? Like, come on, let's be realistic. A struggled win is way better than a beautiful loss, and I've never seen a beautiful loss. So, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care what people say. We do need to do better. Yeah, I read that. Let's not act like we're the Cowboys. Exactly. Let's not jump off the ledge, bro. Let's not jump off the ledge. What's going on, Dijon? What's going on, Michael? I don't know why they're not playing Penny, if I'm being honest with you. That was an awful win yesterday. No sugarcoating it. I'm not a delusional Cowboys fan. That's fine. Yeah, I again said that this was not a beautiful win, Bobby. But to sit here and be like, this person's garbage, that person's garbage, we're not a playoff team, we're not, they're like, bruh, chill. Like, relax. I get it. It's frustrating to not see them play great, but at the same time, it's a divisional game. There's a lot of things that we can improve, and we still won. Let's just look at what we need to improve and move forward. Sitting here saying that this person, they need to go, that person's trying. That's more what the delusional Cowboys fans do. That's more what they do. Because now, remember, Duron, bland, unseasoned food. He was trashed the first week that he went in. Now he's a Super Bowl winner. Like, now they're back to winning the Super Bowl. So it's like, bro, we're going week by week. Every week we need to try and be the better team than the team we're playing. That's going to be the same. I said Washington is not a real playoff cat. We don't know yet. We don't know. Nobody thought the Giants were going to be a playoff contender last year. We don't know. We do not know. And I'm not saying that they are, but we don't know. To sit here and say that this team is trash, that team, we don't know. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, we just got to go week by week. I agree with you 110% that we are not looking as good as we need to look. But the beautiful thing is that's scary. That's scary. What's going on, Lily? That's the scary part. The Philadelphia Eagles have not played their game yet. And guess what? We're still 4-0. So when we do play our game, it's a Reynolds. It's a Reynolds wrap for the whole conference, league. Soup sandwich. I like that. We almost have 4 teams in. Morrow looking nice. Morrow is looking nice. We talked about that this week. Is if, Nakobe Dean even got a job when he comes back, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. How do we look against the Rams? We'll get into the Rams during this week, but I think we'll be all right. Cooper Kupp is supposed to be back this week, so I think we'll be all right. But, it's going to be a test. It's definitely going to be a test, and I think that it's a welcome test, man, because this secondary definitely has to reprove itself again now, because a lot of people are saying they suck, right? Especially in this chat, apparently, a lot of people are saying that they're washed, that people ain't doing that well, so it's time to go out there and ball out. And honestly, I think that this defensive line needs to go out there and ball out, because the defensive line, y'all were supposed to be dogs, and y'all are dogs. And y'all did not show it against a very inferior, offensive line of the Washington Commanders. I was very disappointed in that. Who's doing that, Bobby? Who's building up the other team to make it feel better? I feel like you want to just argue to argue, so I'm gonna let you just argue with yourself, brother. Are we on the road this week? And I believe we're back on the road. Let me double check. Yeah, we are. The next 2 weeks. So we're at LA and then we're at New York Jets. So the LA game should be a home game. I've seen crowds out there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the chat. You my dog. You know you my dog, Bobby, but you wilding a little bit. I don't agree with you, but but it is what it is. We all got our opinion. If we start sucking, then hey, I'm gonna come back in here and be like, you know what, Bobby was right. He saw the signs. If we come in here and start winning, I'm gonna probably pin all the chats that you did talking junk. But that's just what we do out here. But like, yeah, Blankenship is a dog. Oh, it's Liddy, not Lily. My bad. What's going on, Liddy? So lastly, I want to one more time look at this poll. We had 79 votes on the poll, close to 80 votes. So I appreciate everybody that voted. Is Jalen Hurts back on? 70% of you saying yes, 10% of you saying no, and 20% of you saying you're still on the fence. I think that he's back on track. I'm damn sure hoping that he is back on track. But you know what it is back on track is Philly's Morning Joe. We are back. So tomorrow we will be back. And hopefully my computer decides to act like a real computer and doesn't want to crap out on me. Thank you to everybody that is in the chat. Please be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe on your way out. We are so close, guys. We are so close to hitting 6,000, I believe. Let me look. I believe we're like 40 away, something like that. Let me double check. So we're actually 21 away. We're 21 away from hitting 6,000. So if you know 21 people, you know what I'm saying? If you know 21 people, bring them on down and let's have some fun. But other than that, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace!
Everywhere. This is for you.